Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Read With Me. I'm yours truly, Isabel Bedell. I'm here to read with you, and I am so excited to continue reading this book. If you haven't checked out chapter 10, it's two parts of this amazing book, Big Money Energy. And wow, what a way to set up an amazing story that truly you can vividly see it, and then follow it up with such unique points that really bring organization to, how to not allow your emotions to cloud your way to success. So fantastic. I loved it so much. By far one of my favorite chapters in this book, and all of these chapters have been good. So that's definitely my top 10 or top chapters. All right, so let's get into it. Chapter 11, build your round table. Okay, there are a few things I won't do to sell an apartment other than commit a felony or harm animals. That's because my reputation for going above and beyond to get a deal done is key to my success. I've shown apartments in the middle of the night more than once. I've thrown insane parties, and I once built a craft room to convince a little old lady that yes, this apartment is perfect for your bow making passion. If you want to rise to the top of your field, you need to constantly ask yourself, what else can I do? What kind of crazy giveaways, parties, or antics can you use to cement yourself as a number one person in your field in the minds of your customers? I will do nearly anything. Recently, I found myself in a situation where it seemed like I might have gone too far. It started after I sold an $11 million apartment on West 67th Street to a college kid named Wang, who had a very wealthy and very generous father back in Shanghai. A few months later, Wang called me from a virtual reality room of his insane new apartment to tell me that his dad, Wing, wanted to buy an apartment in New York City for himself. Yes. After Wang and I showed Wing lots of apartments over FaceTime, he decided on a spectacular apartment on the 34th floor of a new building on Park Avenue. The asking price, well, $40 million. Hell yes. I worked my magic and negotiated it down to $36 million. Wing just needed to sign the contract and pay the deposit. Cue minor problem that has the potential to grow into a big problem and unravel it all. Because interest rates are so cheap, Wing decides he wants to get a loan. That's fine, but it will take time to put together, and other people wanted the apartment so badly enough to pay all cash. To complicate the situation, due to the demands of being a textile tycoon, Wang is now missing. But Wang is certain that his dad wants the apartment. And because of the deal I did for Wang, I know Wang is good for it. The other broker was breathing down my neck for the deposit, and there was no way I was letting go of a $36 million sale due to a mysterious textile emergency. I called my banker, wired $1.8 million of my own money, and signed the contract myself. The second I put the pen down, I thought, oh my God. Now it's actually me who is in contract for 36 million. What was I thinking? Wing is not returning my calls. Wing is not answering my emails. I'm becoming increasingly nervous. I felt like I sneezed at an auction and accidentally bought a Picasso. I didn't want to damage my reputation. I didn't want to have to call up the other broker and say, oops, it was actually me who bought the apartment, but I can't really afford it. So sorry. I also knew Wing really wanted the apartment, and I didn't want to lose it to another buyer. So I decided there's one thing left to do. I bought the plane ticket to Shanghai for myself, Wang, and Scott, the best mortgage broker in the world, who was helping me out with his insane transaction, by the way. We all managed to nail down an appointment with Wang and his business manager, Tony Chow. to sign the papers and retrieve my 1.8 million relief almost. After the longest flight in the world, we are picked up by Tony Chow. Our meeting with Wing was the next day, so we have some time to kill that night. Even though all I wanted was to June Shen myself to sleep, Tony drives through the city like a maniac, awkwardly barking off landmarks, giving me flashbacks to my $1 million listing audition. We make a quick stop at a fake market, fake iPhones, fake handbags, fake everything where I buy a cool Ferrari phone for myself. I want to go to our hotel and pass out, but Tony has other ideas. He abruptly pulls over and parks his BMW on the sidewalk in front of a nightclub. Okay, let's have fun now. The nightclub is insane. Tony is throwing back scotch and introducing everyone to his American friends. It's nearly 3 a.m. and I'm blurry from exhaustion. Where the F is Scott? I can't find Scott. At that moment, Tony pulls on my sleeve. Let's go now. Wait, should Tony be driving? Before I could ascertain what Tony's blood alcohol level could be, I'm shoved into the front seat and Tony is flying through the city. Red lights. Why bother stopping for those? Eventually, we end up at Tony's house on a golf course that appears to be on an island somewhere in the gigantic city that I've never been to before on the other side of the world. Like, where am I? Tony immediately passes out. I have no idea where I am and I don't know where Scott is. Is Scott actually alive? My phone is dead. I can't find my landlines. I briefly consider stealing Tony's car, but I know I won't be able to read the street signs. I feel genuinely like FUCK. Like I'm in some twisted dark sequel of the Hangover movie franchise. And I'm going to run into Mike Tyson and a tiger if I try to find the bathroom. Our meeting with Wing is happening in 2 hours. Tony might not need to be there, but I'm sure as hell had to make that meeting. I was so tired I couldn't feel my face. I flew across the planet to see this guy, get a signed contract, and get my money back. Suddenly I hear something. My Ferrari phone is ringing. Oh my God, thank you, Fox Market. I am greatly relieved to hear Scott's voice on the other end. He's alive and at the hotel. Scott does his best to explain to the front desk person at the hotel that his friend has been kidnapped, and they kindly help me figure out to get a taxi from Tony's house so I can get back to the hotel, change, and get to the meeting with Wing. Tony was still passed out on the bathtub, clutching a half-eaten ice cream sandwich when the taxi arrived. I managed to catch a few minutes of sleep in the car. When I get to the hotel, I slapped myself into the face 5 times, cleaned up, and told Scott I'd explain where I had been later. Somehow we managed to get Wing's office on time. The doors opened, and standing there as fresh as an effing daisy is Tony Chow. What the literal shenanigans is happening right now? Less than 2 hours ago, this guy was in a bathtub suit. But Tony, who has made a miraculous full recovery, has the papers and the check ready to go. Mr. Wing appreciates your dedication to life and would like to proceed with this glorious transaction. Aha, great. As soon as I had the contracts and the check for 1.8 million in my hand, I could put Tony Chow and his partying behind me. I had gone way above and beyond, and while terrifying, it had been worth it. I had saved a $36 million deal. I slept like a baby the entire flight home, knowing I didn't have to call the other broker and explain we were backing out of the deal. My reputation for getting impossible deals done was firmly intact. Wow. Now that's a story. That's crazy. Move beyond mediocre. That was the only time I had ever gotten kidnapped. Well, kind of. In the name of the deal, and the first time I ever used my own money to secure an apartment, does anything say above and beyond more than paying a 7-figure down payment, signing a contract, and flying to frickin' China To be kidnapped by the buyer's business manager? Well, I don't think so. While this was obviously a more dramatic example of what I'll do, I know that without my reputation as the above and beyond kind of broker, I sink back into the sea of nameless, faceless real estate brokers. I'm just a regular guy that's not good enough. Your reputation is one of the most powerful forms of currency. If you think you can succeed without knowing what people say about you when you're not in the room, you're wrong. Your reputation is the sum of all the energy that you put into the world. Whether it's being the smartest and most efficient guy to work with, everyone loves to work with you. Or maybe you're known for being innovative and solving problems in a unique way, and people seek you out for their reason. Your reputation is your brand. If you want the world to view you as a fierce competitor, a killer business person, and overall a dominator, there are some key qualities you must have, and they need to be in balance. To create this powerful combination, think about it like you were gathering guests at a dinner party. You want the right mixture of people with different interests and backgrounds to keep the evening flowing. To succeed on the highest levels, your table needs to consist of a good reputation, healthy competition, a tiny dose of revenge to fuel you when you're low, and a strong ability to focus, and a way to manage life's tasks so they don't derail you from your real goal, which is to make millions of dollars. Each of these qualities is equally important. One cannot overshadow the other, or your energy will be off. If this happens, you could come off as an ultra competitive jerk or a revenge driven maniac, and that's not good energy. The idea of a round table isn't new. It's actually very, very old. Legend has it, and I am a theater nerd. I like a good legend that King Arthur and his knights gathered at a massive round table somewhere in the mystical castle. It was round on purpose. Everyone was equal. Everyone's ideas mattered. A knight couldn't waltz in and say, "Man, I am by far the most chivalrous mother effer here. So I deserve to sit at the table, at the head of the table. Move over, Arthur." Not even the king held a special position above the rest of the knights. At a round table, competition can't take over everything else, ruining the balance of and pulling you down. When I started selling real estate in 2008, I didn't have a team, but that didn't mean that I was doing it all alone. I had my round table to help provide guidance and some tough love. Whether you're a team of one or you work at a company of thousands, you need to create your very own virtual roundtable for guidance and inspiration. I'm gonna go back to this part where he's talking about reputation because I really do love that. And like recently, I personally had a fallout with a mentor that I held so true to my heart, and it really broke a part of me because I was like, ugh, I wanted it to last, and I had huge hopes for it, but anyways, life goes on. And the whole reputation thing, like, I don't want what happened, how I see that person, for someone to look at me like that. So I'm so honored to have such a unique group of people that we actually communicate with, that we can serve, that we can help, that we can, guide into better and bigger ways of them succeeding, because it's like when the tables turn into a transaction and there's no depth, it just becomes so bad. And then that reputation is gone, I never want that. So I love that. Your reputation is your brand. But something that he said, your reputation is one of your most powerful forms of currency. And I always believe like your database is your currency. Like if you're an online coach, if you have an online business, if you have a business in general, right? If you, it's who you knows you, who you know, how do they perceive you? How is that relationship? So all that is very important. Okay, let's continue on because that's a whole different conversation. All right, let's get into it. So reputation, he goes into it further. You do not fly to China to have a good reputation, but you need to know how you are perceived in your community. If it's nice kid, like pre Big Money Energy Ryan, you need to think about what steps you can take to show the world how capable you are. You might need to do more networking or be more vocal about your wins to current and potential clients. Your reputation can grow like weeds. So what's being spread around needs to be positive. Your reputation also provides you with a bar to measure yourself against. If you are the smartest financial advisor in town, you have to maintain that reputation. Competition. Since the moment I started selling real estate, I've been fueled by competition. It started with Ben, the killer broker in my office who would rent an apartment every 3 seconds while I struggled to manage even one deal. Once I got on $1 Million Listing, it was my fellow castmate, Frederick, whom I'm always compared to and forever will be. Frederick came to the show much older than me, with a lot more experience than I had, and I fought hard to catch up. Now I think of my competition on broader terms. The literal thousands of other brokers in New York City who are selling apartments, nipping at my heels as I write this, and the brokerage companies themselves that I now compete with since starting my own firm in the middle of the pandemic. There's no game without competition. Competition gives you an edge. It provides something to push off against. Think about it. There is no Coke without Pepsi. There's no Nike without Adidas, and no Microsoft without Apple. Being number one means nothing if it's just you. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. Being number one means nothing if it's just you. When it comes to competition, you can sit down on the sidewalk and watch the race because competition is so exhausting. Or you can get swept up in the energy and let it carry you towards the finish line. You can compete with anyone you want. Your coworker who has brilliant ideas and manages to execute them flawlessly. Your boss who is constantly nailing pitch meetings. How does he do it every single time? Your lifelong friend who is a stellar negotiator, or someone you've never met before. You don't need to be friends with Kylie Jenner to be inspired by what she's achieved with her makeup business. It doesn't matter that you've met Joe Rogan. If his success in the podcast industry makes you hustle harder, offer him a seat at your table. Unless you are 110 satisfied with the way that your life looks like right now, and really, are you? Or is this just as far as you think you can go? Okay. You need a clear vision of success to compete against. Let people who have reached a high level of success provide that picture for you. Follow them on social, read articles they've written, write down their brilliant quotes and put them where you can see them. Create a folder of images that make you think. That is what I want from life, and I won't stop until it's mine. Be inspired, execute great work, and emulate their success. When I first started out in the real estate business, I wasn't taken seriously. I didn't grow up in the city. I didn't go to fancy schools and with kids who lived on Park Avenue. I didn't have any contacts. I worked at a brand new brokerage house that no one had ever heard of before. And I used to get lost downtown with alarming regularity. Word would get back to me that other brokers used to say, Ryan Serhant, that guy's a joke. He's never going anywhere. Oh, really? And guess what? That comment hurt. It really it really pissed me off. I'm not proud to admit it, but underneath my expensive dress shirt, you'll find a big fat chip on my shoulder about my lack of pedigree. I'm still angry about being called a joke, but I'm careful not to let it blossom into my full-fledged rage. Rage can eat you alive, and you can't compete if there's nothing left of you. But if you hold on to just a tiny bit of anger, you can channel it into motivation, revenge. A relentless drive to do your best and prove that all your haters and doubters are wrong. If I think for half a second, that Steve Ferguson should just give me his new project on DeVoe Street, because we've worked together twice and we sold out a record number both times, I immediately take an action to secure this job. I'll call, email, schedule lunch, send a gift, anything to remind him that I exist, and I always go above and beyond for him. I can't let myself forget that other brokers are saying, Ryan's too busy now running a company. Ryan is just a reality TV broker. He doesn't really sell. He's a joke. Hire me. Just thinking about being called a joke makes me want to work even harder. To be extra clear, this is not John Wick. You stole my car and killed my dead wife's dog, so prepare to die style revenge. Motivation revenge will land you in jail, because it never actually involves actually hurting anyone or anything, because that would actually be crazy. Motivation revenge is actually about sprinkling a little extra magic out there to show your haters what you've known all along, that you're awesome. You're who? Weird question. Do you know why racehorses wear masks with blinders? It's not just for the show. The blinders actually have an important purpose. If a racehorse looks around during a race, even for a split second, they lose speed. The blinders keep the horse 100% focused on his task, which is winning. Secretariat, the greatest racehorse in the world, didn't look back to see if the archival sham was closing in. Secretariat kept his eye on the finish line and ran like hell to get there, because winners only focus on winning. Humans can't wear blinders, but we have to stay 100% focused on winning, as if we were. This isn't going to be easy to do. Everyone gets slapped in the face by doubt, or knocked on their butt by fear or failure, or distracted by a competitor who might be running a little faster. This is why you need someone at your table who forces you to look straight ahead. This person is your who, and they'll keep you running steady, even when you want to stop. Every Sunday after I come home from the gym, but before I go to the office, Zena and I have a standing date to hang out together. She can't say much yet, but in my mind, we're talking about cool things like mermaids, the original formation of the continent 750 million years ago, glitter, and how she'll conquer the world when she's older. Her hopeful smile is a perfect antidote to any fear or doubts I'm having about starting a company from scratch during one of the most difficult times in recent American history. I could get sidetracked easily by the economy, the uncertainty, the enormous risk and financial pressure, but I'm not going to fail. Zena is my who. I will do whatever it takes to show her how much is actually possible when you aim high, work hard, and stay focused. Your who is the person who makes the hard work worth it. Failing them is not an option. Your who might be your partner, your child, sibling, or it can be you. That's fine. What matters is that you don't let your who down. So freaking strong. Here's code number 16. Every goal needs a picture of success. Visualize what your big success looks like daily. Break it down, okay? And he has a couple of points, which is really, really good. Task master. You can't experience record-breaking success if you have no idea how you're going to handle all of the random life tasks that will easily suck up your minutes. As you move up the ladder, you obviously have more freedom to outsource the tasks that suck up your time and energy. But what can move off your plate right now? When I was first starting to sell apartments, I found extra minutes in my week by paying for valet laundry service instead of doing it myself. The money I spent outsourcing this task paid for itself since I was able to use that time to earn more money. Eventually, I was able to hire a junior agent to show apartments for me so I could focus my time on building new business to bring in more dollars instead of just handling current business. At this point in my career, the two big tasks I have to master to preserve my minutes so I can succeed like crazy are food preparation and transportation. Every day, a lunch bag the size of a toddler gets dropped off of my apartment. Inside of it, all of my food for the entire day, healthy meals, 2 protein shakes, lean meats with lots of vegetables, and enough snacks to keep me fueled up for the day. I do not want to spend a single minute thinking about what I'm going to eat or where it's coming from. It's done. It's all in my enormous lunch bag. Having Yuri to navigate the madness of the city streets so I can work in the car between appointments is also huge. My car is my second office, and there are days when I'm in the car more than I'm anywhere else. Having a driver enables me to double my output throughout the day. For me, outsourcing these tasks is priceless. How are you mastering your tasks so they don't drain you? If you currently have a team, is there someone who can take more off your plate so you can do your real job making more money? If you're working solo, will it help to outsource laundry, cleaning, errands, and grocery shopping? Don't underestimate how important it is to have this kind of support as you're taking your career to the next level. Reevaluate how you need to master your tasks so you can get more done. That's really, really good. And I know some of our billionairettes already have outsourced a lot of their, house tasks. And I'm so incredibly proud of them. That was definitely one of the best decisions that we've made to actually hire someone to prep our food for the entire week and also clean, because it gives us a sense of peace, because I don't have to think about, okay, cooking and all this stuff. It's already prepped in little containers ready to go. If I'm hungry, I get it. If I want a snack, it's there. It's the best feeling ever. Okay.
There are no lone millionaires.
Lone millionaires.
Okay, Lone, lone.
Okay, L-O-N.
No one succeeds all on their own. Long before I was making millions of dollars, I had important people in my life who pushed me and provided the perspective that I needed to keep going. I had no idea what I'd be doing today if my older brother Jimmy hadn't told me to stop being a little bitch. When I felt like quitting my job, I know I wouldn't have earned millions of dollars if Amelia didn't remind me to cry on the inside like a winner. Cry on the inside like a winner. And I'd probably cry on television with much greater frequency. You might feel like you need to do it all, but no one succeeds without support. Every millionaire has been buoyed by a competitor, their haters, and their who. No millionaire would have a reputation for anything if it weren't for customers and clients, and I don't think anyone got rich doing laundry all day. If you saw my previous office on Million Dollar Listing, you know that the Serhant team worked in a fairly traditional office space, reception area, conference room, lots of desks and phones, a giant tub of Twizzlers for afternoon sugar cravings. Just recently, I left the brokerage firm I'd been for the first 12 years of my career, and I started my own company. I left the standard office model in the past and planned a path for the future of work. My new company works in our product, a house. It's homey enough to feel comfortable, but it's also classy and polished, so we can impress our potential clients. As I write this book, there is one thing that's noticeably missing from the Serhant house, though desks. We are really owning the home vibe. Instead of desks, team members get settled into comfy chairs in the lounge with their laptops, or if it's a nice day, work outside on the roof deck. My favorite place to work in our new non-office is the massive round table in the dining room. I love working side by side with various team members, knowing together we are going to make amazing things happen. The table is the dining room of Serhant. House New York is big, and there's always a few spots open for other people, and I love the symbolism of that. There's always room for more. There's a seat open for awesomeness. Even King Arthur kept one seat at his table vacant at all times. The crazy story goes that Merlin, what legend is complete without a wizard, was out in the world looking for the Holy Grail, as one does. And it was expected that one day he would actually return to the table with his magical object that brought infinite happiness and abundance and eternal youth. Merlin is bringing eternal youth, people, so save him a seat. I'm now holding out for a holy grail, but I do love the idea of leaving a space open for sheer awesomeness. Now, when there's an empty chair at our table, I know it's not just a vacancy, it represents infinite possibilities. That chair is a reminder that I should remain open to new opportunities and even bigger successes. If you want to make millions, curate your table with the people you need to crush your goals. Compete like crazy, toss in a dash of revenge, maintain your reputation, learn to delegate and maintain focus. All of it is key. But don't forget to leave an open space. You have no idea who may come along and want to sit down. Wow. I really enjoyed that chapter. It was very nice. Very, very nice. And I never thought about it like that, like leaving a room, like leaving a chair open. That's really nice. I remember when we had our office in Austin. We had lots of chairs. Open. We had lots of chairs open. Vanessa and I, we were the only ones working there. For like two months. And then we hired our first person to come in physically, because we had a team of like 30 people online, but we never really actually worked with anyone physically. And it was so nice. It was really nice. And then we hired our second person in the physical, and it was like, oh wow, like there's more room. Like we need more room. And it was really nice as well. So if you have a physical office, keep going, like keep hiring, keep finding talent. Finding talent is probably the most lucrative skill set that you can acquire today. With so much freedom in the world, people, especially talented people, demand more, right? And they are not willing to just go with anyone. So I'm really excited for what we're creating right now, because for me, digital was always a safe haven. It having an office, it was me that made the decision. Let's get rid of the office. Let's continue to travel. Let's go out there. Let's meet more surroundings. Like, let's meet more people, and let's continue to build the team online. And Vanessa always wanted an office. And I think once we actually had it, and I'm so glad that we experienced it, we realized that we love freedom. And I think because we recognize that freedom factor, we attract that type of person as well. Because we are very mission driven, and we absolutely adore our clients, our customers, our people, our coaches. We bring in awesome talent. And we work really hard to do that. So what we're creating for Ivy Leads, which is you definitely go check it out, ivyleads.com. We're doing done for you services for our coaches. And he mentioned something that's so strong, like about delegating and actually outsourcing the most tedious tasks. And one of the things that we constantly hear from our coaches is like, I need to get something out. Like, I need to do this workshop. I need to promote this product. I need to do this new thing. But then they get boggled down with all the tech stuff. In the background, like with the landing pages, the triggers, the automations, making sure that the campaign runs, making sure that the emails get sent, making sure that the text goes out, making sure that the reminders are sent, and making sure that everything else flows correctly. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, and when you take your mind out of the creative, the money producing, and then you get stuck into the whole like how do the triggers work. It sucks, and that's when you burn out. So what we've done is we've actually been working really hard to assemble teams that are just focused on that, like the tech side of things, making sure that everything works, and also establishing the culture that makes sense with the coaches that we love, right? Mission driven, really focused on getting results for their clients, and integrity based coaches, not the ones that are just in it for a quick buck. Like, I have no sympathy for that. I don't. But those that are committed to becoming the better version of themselves for someone else, to ensure that they get the best results, and they're feeding themselves because they want to become a better person in the world, that's who I'm rooting for. That's who we're building these teams for. And I'm so excited to put it out into the world, because it's like, that was one of the things that transformed our business. Like, for 6 months, it's been running automatic, like, I'm freaking reading. I'm reading I'm reading books, and I'm like drawing, and I'm watercoloring, and I'm like doing all my creative stuff because I have so much time now. And it's such a blessing. I want to ensure that that same level of like freedom is translated to the coaches that we believe in. So if you know a coach that wants the freedom, and that they don't want to do any tech stuff, make sure to take them to ivyleads.com. Tell them that, hey, you watch this, read with me, and they need the tech stuff handled. We got you. We got you. That's all I'm saying. Our reputation is superb for making sure that you have a spectacular experience, that you have the support when you need it, and that we do everything that we can to ensure that the problem or the situation gets handled. That way you can live a more mission-driven, purposeful life, and not have to worry about anything that comes in between. So I'm excited for you. I know that was a lot, but I freaking love this type of reading. I love this type of like,
reading. I love this type
you know,
of like,
bigger purpose, bigger
you know,
vision.
bigger
Like,
purpose,
what's the
bigger
reason
vision.
you're doing this
Like, what's the
type of
reason we're doing
conversations?
this
Like, that's what we
type of
need in the world
conversations?
more than
Like,
ever
that's
today.
what we
So
need in the
I'm
world
excited that
more than ever
I got
today.
to share that with
I'm
you.
excited that I
And
got to share that
I'll
with
talk to you soon.
And
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon.